Good morning, everybody. It's Bob Phibbs, the retail doc. That's right. Good morning. We always have a choice. I was reminded today, by the way, before I get too far, do me a favor and type in where you're joining me from around the world. Last week, I think we had somebody from pretty much every corner of the world except Antarctica. So join in, let me know. And that's always fun, no matter what platform you're watching on. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor and click that little bell. That way you'll be notified when I go live, and the same with Facebook. Please make sure you follow me. And on LinkedIn, well, it's the luck of the draw. Just know I'm usually here at 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings. There you go. And for those of you on LinkedIn that think that live video doesn't work, I just got a gig last week from people saying they've been watching my videos for the last 2 years on LinkedIn. So it only takes one. It only takes one. So there you go. Hey, good morning, Cheryl. Always a pleasure to see you. Roberta, glad to see you this morning in Pittsburgh. When I got out of college, I had decided I was going to become a teacher, and I did student teaching, and I was at Irvine High School in Orange County, California. And there's an election going on. Honestly, I don't remember which presidential election it was. And these two students started engaging me about who I was voting for. And I asked them some questions, and then what they said to me, I said, well, how do you know about that? And they're like, well, that's what my dad says. And I said, well, I tell you what, when they're your opinions, I'll talk to you, but I have no interest in you just spouting somebody else's. And, I think it's really important that I start off this broadcast by just talking about what's happening in social media right now. Make no mistake, the Capitol riots were planned on social media. There's an awful lot of people looking at this unregulated industry, but I just want to make you very aware that it's really tough for us in retail because a lot of us have pinned our hopes on social media. And hey, if you follow me, I have unending amounts of my material going out. You know why? Because there are a bunch of other people who are taking my stuff, rewriting it, and then just putting it out in the world. And I'm actually competing with myself for views. And the only way to really cut through that is to authentically be me. And video seems to be where you all want me to be. So that's it. That's where I'm joining. And you just have to be really careful on what you like or click on. Something like 20% of people actually read something they click. And every time you click, you're telling that algorithm, I agree with this. And it's then going to continue making things more and more narrow. And so I want you today that before you, and a lot of people are saying, oh, my social feeds are so filled up with things on one side or the other. Well, don't click or like anything and you will see it change. I've been running this for the last week. I've only been liking pictures I follow a lot of bird and flower sites now. And lo and behold, that's what Facebook is showing me. I have moved away from my friends who want to show me a bunch of other things because there's a lot of people out there willing to give your all for their cause. And make no mistake, that's how we end up with things in the Capitol where people believe things and are moved to take action. Words have consequences. So today, I want you to think before you click, before you like, just look for the real source and ask yourself, does this make the world a better place? Or is there a 2% chance that you're encouraging something that you don't want to happen? And understand that your customers are the same. Are you going to be a beacon of hope and how we're going to work together and we're going to find a way through this? Or aren't you? It's that simple. There's a lot of downtowns that are struggling right now, a lot of states, an awful lot. I'm just north of New York City. There's a lot of people worried. I get it. But unless we find hope, and it starts with you, unless we stop clicking, unless we stop teaching the algorithm machines, oh, I just want to make my world into one of anger and distrust, then how the hell are you going to open your heart to another human being when they walk in your door? It's very simple. Are you a beacon of hope, or are you a reflection of other people's worldviews? And understand that if you're in business to make a profit, and retail is one for the masses. And by the way, just be careful. Those of you who've been writing me and saying, oh, social media saved us last year. Well, understand that the groups are getting smaller and smaller and more, and bubbles are getting tighter. And be careful that your worldview doesn't become one like that. And I know several of you, after I do, Apostle Kelly Joseph, thank you very much, have written me and said how you've had to get out of some of your industry groups because of the negativity people are spewing. Well, ask yourself, why are you there? Are you taking that into you? I guarantee you it is. If you're reading it and you're participating and you're angry and all this, just disengage. Just disengage. I found myself in the last week suddenly looking at my phone. My iPhone comes up. Your average use went up 30%. It's like, holy crap. I have allowed myself to fall into doom scrolling. And I can tell you in the next 3 days, it's only going to get worse. And we will go on. And I believe in democracy. I believe in the orderly transfer of power. I think that ultimately it is going to depend on retail and business bringing us to a new hope. I believe we're on the cusp of new hedonism. I know when I talk to my customers and they're finding that their margins improved last year, their sales improved, yet people will share the story. Oh, retail was down for December. Actually, retail was up 6%. NRF thought it would be up 3%. It was up about 6%. When you take out gasoline, you know why gasoline's down? We're not driving. If you take out gas and cars, you find that the economy is coming back. And the vaccine is coming out, and we have got to stay focused on that. Are you adding to that hope, or are you taking away with it? And that goes for your personal and your professional. It's that simple. So do you agree with me? Actually, I hope you agree with me, because frankly, that's why I'm here. I'm not here to debate. I want to make sure that life goes to crap, and I'm part of it. I don't think you'd be here. But it's up to you to help me to make the world a better place. We could change the world by the people working and shopping in retail, but it's up to us. And I've said this a million times. Retail is responsible for 1 in 4 jobs around the world. You better damn well hope retail survives. Something like still 85% of business is done with a brick and mortar store. You damn well better hope that we exist and that sales tax comes in. If you want your streets fixed, if you want to have healthcare, if you want to have a million things, you better understand that it comes down to what we provide for the community. So there you go. By the way, just because I can do this, I was watching The Devil Wears Prada again last night, where Anne Hathaway says to her boyfriend, I didn't have a choice. You always have a choice. And his response to her right after, which was, the person whose calls you take, that's the relationship you're in. I hope you two are very happy together. Well, that's kind of the same with social media and us in our own bubbles, that you have to guard your mind. So there you go. That's my 7 minutes. If you want to click away, you don't care about my answers to questions, please take that. Consider what you're doing. Pause before you share. Look for a real source. And if you can't find verification around and around, just ask yourself, is there a 2% chance that this is actually making the world worse? Then why share it? If you agree with me, you can give me a thumbs up and let me know yes. But let's just stop the doom scrolling while we're at it. I got too much energy for life, don't you? Why the hell are we doing this? We're doing it to ourselves. All right, so let's get to 5 questions today. Aaron says, what's the best way to organize the messaging around a shift? How far in advance, how much to release, and when? So Aaron, when I talk to independent retailers, a lot of times they feel like, oh, scheduling is taking 4 or 5 hours. And oh my gosh, and I have to remember Jane does this and Tom does this and this and this. It usually comes from one place, which is you have relied on part-time people who can only work a few shifts, a few hours, and you've plugged them into this kind of Frankenstein schedule where you really can't move around, instead of saying I should have full-time employees that work at least 30 hours a week, because then I can train them and then I can go through and hold them accountable, versus I get 2 people for 8 hours a week. So that's the first thing. Number 2 is I always recommend if you take a month schedule, there's an A and a B schedule. There's week 1 and week 2. Then week 1 repeats, that's A, and then B. And you make that so that they can make their lives around a set schedule. And then you make sure that you say, if you need time off, I need at least a week notice. But a lot of people don't do that. And then they allow people to switch shifts. So now you've got Tom, who just started, who is filling in for Jane, who's a seasoned employee, and you come to work and you're like, holy crap, I have 2 trainees and I have no one that knows what they're doing. How did that happen? And you go back to the manager and they say, oh, well, we let them shift. We have an app. We let them shift. Don't do that, because who is the one that gets made into the crazy maker? You do. Remember, you are the dog wagging the tail, not the tail wagging the dog, please. So that's what I would suggest, Aaron. And also just make sure that you have your guidelines and stick with them. The more times that you make variances, the more they are in control of you. and that makes you crazy. There's enough that makes us crazy already. There just is. So why add to it? By the way, if you like what I have to say, I would certainly appreciate whatever platform you're watching this on. Give me a thumbs up. You could type in yes. You could still go through and give me some love, because as much as I'm railing on the algorithm, I need you to change the algorithm for me. So you can hit that like many times. You can hit the applause. You can comment, whatever it is. That would be great. I would appreciate that. David in from Indonesia. Hey, awesome. Carolyn from Greece. Awesome. Yanel, thank for these reminders. You're welcome, because I'm just as bad as you are. The popsicle sticks. You're welcome, Cheryl. Thank you very much. Absolutely. So Michael says, as an employee of a Canada-wide retail men's clothing company, what can I do to not only increase my own business, but be able to affect change going forward? And I already clientele call and keep in touch with my clients during these restrictions. So Michael, you got me going one way, and I'm not quite sure what you're looking for. But I would say that just calling people and asking how they're doing, especially if you're in a men's clothing company, most guys are not buying clothes that much right now because there's no need, there's no event. That's changing as people are vaccinated. So maybe that's something you're going to be talking about. If you got your vaccination, now you can go out and party, or now you can go out and whatever. And I'm sure someone's going to say that's bad, but I don't think it's bad. I would go through, once you are vaccinated, I would have a little button or any number of things and say, now you should be looking at planning that wedding or whatever it's going to be, and start sharing those hope stories and stories of people who are putting together great outfits. And by the way, I'd also put in some Google alerts around styles and trends and what's new in fashion. And that's what I would be talking about. Because frankly, I'm sitting at my desk. If you were to, and I have a couple of personal shoppers, if I got a text from Kathy, if you're watching this, if I got a text from her like, hey, what's up? It'd be like, nothing much. I'm still in lockdown. We don't have a conversation. But if you've attracted me, you've sent me a newsletter that's got some pictures of, what to do when you're past doom scrolling, or what to do here and there, I think it would be interesting. I was attending the National Retail Federation's virtual show this week, and this one guy was showing how virtually they could go through and now change. You can take a picture of a shirt, and then you can change it, and then take a picture and post on Instagram. And I said, well, that's great, but that's not retail. And what do you mean? This is great. It's like, dude, seriously, that's just a filter for Instagram. Why do I need to buy the shirt if that's the case? Well, I haven't thought of it that way. Yeah, well, think of it that way, because ultimately you have to come down to what's the value to sell your product. And I think for you, Michael, it's showing stories of hope and what's new, and making sure that they understand that when COVID does go, and yeah, I get it, it's going to take a while to get it. We're in January and we're already getting vaccinated. Some people say we wouldn't get vaccinations in 2022. So we're already ahead of the game in my book. People are out there getting it. We're going to recover by, I'm still saying, the middle of the year. But are you ready to do that? And are your customers? They probably aren't. And so your idea is you're going to maybe have a countdown, and you're going to talk about, how things are going to be, or you're going to be talking about how things are opening up, instead of sharing more doom and gloom stories. We're locked down. We can't sell. What do we do? Just stop doing that. I hope that helps. Gopal from India. Nice to have you here. David, all the way from Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware, David. No relation, but makes it sound interesting. Roger, you're here live instead of on replay. Awesome. Jeannie from Sweet Ethel May, glad you're here this morning. And Robin from Molly's Meanders. Got a lot of Sales or X folks here today. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. That's great. Carolina from Brazil. All right, let's get more to questions. Randy asks, how can we improve the in-store experience for furniture retailers? Well, Randy, you're a furniture retailer. I don't think you understand how much I hate going into most furniture stores. Do you really understand it? I'm going to walk in, and two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to walk in and someone's going to have their little clipboard and say, can I help you find something? Or I'm going to walk into this vast showroom and I'm not going to see anyone or anything, because they're all hiding at a little desk in a kiosk behind a column. And then they're going to kind of come out like it's Halloween, like, hello. I'm going to be like, whoa, stop. They won't quite do it that way. But you know what they're going to ask me? Can I help you find something? And I'll say, oh, I'm looking for a new couch. You mean a sofa? Okay, thanks. I feel stupid. A sofa. Do you have a budget? uh, I don't know, like $300, and then they take me showing me the $300 ones instead of the experience, which is you're in a big toy box for adults where you get to pick out furniture and bring it into your life. And oh, but we have a virtual app. We can take a picture and superimpose it over something. Like, yeah, that's still not the same. That's not real reality. Virtual reality is not real reality. So no, the sale isn't complete till it's actually in their house, right? But you have to have that conversation. You have to bond to them in a real way and actually bond with them as a person first. And then they trust you to open their hearts to what they really want instead of thinking that you are a click and collect. And that's a real danger for all of you, that the last year you've been click and collect, right? And everyone else is telling you, oh, people just want to get in and get out. And we want to make sure that they get in and get out. I was watching a big mobile company at NRF, and they were talking about how you could get in and get out quick. And it's like, yeah, well, that's great, but you're not going to discover anything else to go with you. So maybe you'll get that one product, but the add-on sale you left out, you didn't train your employees, and it's all about get the hell in and out. How many employees want to work there? Seriously, why not just have a kiosk that asks them, what do you want? It's got voice recognition. It takes the phone. It does whatever. It puts a box out, and it's delivered around the back. Why the hell do you need humans? And then some people are like, that's a great idea. I'm here to tell you that the more you reduce your customer experience to click and collect, the less you're going to make in 2022, 2021. Why? Because ultimately people buy from people that make them feel something. I feel nothing with click and collect. I still remember the day I bought this shirt. I still remember how I found it. I remember what it was. Every purchase you make in a brick and mortar store has a considered purchase. You had to think about it and bought it home. That's why returns are so historically low, something like 6 to 8% in a brick and mortar store. They're 30 to 50% online. Why? Because it's really easy to click and buy and ship back. So don't give that up. So Randy, and if I haven't already said it, if you haven't checked out Sales RX, my online retail sales training program, then I don't know what to tell you, because we are in the middle of one of our sprints. We just started with about 50 retailers. It's very exciting. And when I get depressed, you know what? When I'm doom scrolling, I just tap back into you. And those of you out that are doing cool things and trying things, and you're saying, I'm not sure this is working, but somehow it is, and I'm having a good time. And you are the ones actually making a difference in the world, because you are the ones working together with me, or using Sales RX, or consulting, or any number of different things, or brands who are working with me to say, wow, we can see the future. This is going to be an exciting time. So remember, you provide hope to your employees, who then provide it to your customers. You can't cut out that middle part, because employees without hope are just going to be robots. And I can't imagine working in retail as a robot. So there you go. Carol from St. Louis, I'm glad you're here. And Melanie, wash hands. Okay. Douglas, all the way from Chicago. Awesome. Buy it now. Something to look forward to. Exactly, Roberta. I love that. David, hello from Nigeria. Awesome. My gosh, you're all commenting. And again, if you're just joining me, if you've stayed to 18 minutes, give me some more love, because the algorithm. See, this is so horrible, because I'm telling you what to do and then what to not do, except you agree with me, right? Because you're still here at 18 minutes. So give me the love so that you'll see more positive, good stuff instead of doom scrolls. How's that? All right, I have only 2 more to go. Josh says, I own a fabric store in India and sales have plummeted due to COVID. I keep my store's Instagram and Facebook page updated with pics of new fabrics. And I also send a personalized message to my customers periodically through WhatsApp, along with pictures of new fabrics. Despite all these efforts, sales have not picked up. Would you be able to suggest any ideas I could implement to increase sales? So I would encourage you to think that maybe your feed is becoming all about you, and it can be tough, because I get how you get there, but just saying, look, we have this, buy this, look, we have this, get this, look, that's not a compelling reason for me, A, to follow you, or B, for me to take action. So why don't you turn it on its head, Josh, and ask for people to share their pictures of projects that they have created. I don't care whether it's quilts, if it's a dress, if you're going to do a project runway makeover. A lot of sewing machine stores follow me, and why you haven't adopted that's like, well, I don't like gays in runway. It's like, get over yourself. It's fashion, whatever. But the idea of taking old merchandise and remanufacturing it, it's going to give you a whole new model. Millennials, Gen Z are all going to love it. And then maybe you show those pictures, or you give them a challenge. Here's, go out and find a 2-foot square of fabric, and you have 3 days to make something that would fit for a pet chihuahua. I don't know. But then you've got people, they're going into wonder, like, wow, what would that look like? And whether they want to take the challenge or not, they want to see what the results are. But your focus becomes on hope and on fashion and colors and artists and the works. Your focus then becomes on them and not you, and you're lifting up these other voices. And I think there's a lot of power. And what do you think? Those of you who work in sewing shops, I never quite know, sewing retailers, what exactly? Bridget, that's a great idea, to post pics of their sewing projects and the challenge. Exactly, Bridget, because then it's fun for you. Or I know they have kits and you can do kits, but that's not what we're doing. It's more like take something from, take something out of the rag bin, and how would they dye it? Go up and get some RIT dye and do it. Doesn't matter, but you've tapped into wonder. See, that's the difference. And then they start wondering, like, oh, I wonder. It's kind of how we sell Sales RX. Can you imagine what it would be like to be free of training? Can you imagine what it'd be like to be free of wondering what somebody does in your store? Can you imagine what it would be like to have that feeling when you're not there, that they're following up and doing actually a better job than you did? Yeah, well, once you tap into that wonder, you say, like, well, how do I get that? Oh, well, we've got it all. Here's the recipe. We've got it all. Just pay this and start into it. So it's that same idea. I hope that helps. I have 2 more here. I missed Marla. Sorry. Marla, how is the best way to merge e-com into brick and mortar, especially with commissioned salespeople? I don't think I have a great idea. I think a lot of people have a million ideas around that, Marla. Quite simply, if I'm a commissioned salesperson and I work on the sales floor with you, and I'm working with you and we build the sale, the role has to become the commissioned salesperson has still got to close the sale. I hate the loser's limp. Oh, they bought it online. That's easy to say, and you don't know it. So, and then saying, we have to come up with a way that if I've touched you, Marla, and I don't mean literally, if I've touched Marla and she tried on this shirt, I need to be able to get credit for that, because then if she buys it, then you have to ask yourself, oh, what, in a week, in 3 days, in a month? What if she buys it in the different size, or she buys this brand but a different one? Do you get credit for it? And now you've got this whole algorithm you're trying to figure out when, excuse me, you didn't close the sale. I'm tired of people having friendly associates on the sales floor. Their job is to get me to get over my distrust of them, of the brand, of how it will work. Will this shrink? Whatever it's going to be, know that you can remove risk, and I'm going to take it home and I'm going to love it. That's your job. Your job is not to just like, oh, great to see you, hon. How's it going? Oh, we love having you here. That's fine, but it doesn't build sales. What should keep you up at night is how many people that walked into your store, went to your website, you delivered the catalog to, whatever, actually bought as a result. If you don't know that, well, you know what? January 17th, you could go through and put steps in to find that out. But if you haven't cared about that, and you just say, oh, well, they must be, you are telling yourself a story, a loser's limp. That's not my fault. My employees, I was a great salesman. I gave them my card at the end and they didn't do it. Loser's limp is a card. Sorry, furniture retailers, car retailers, anybody that works on commission. I worked on commission most of my life. I bought my first house because I work on commission at 24, because I set the goal. This is what I'm going to do. What does it take? How much do I have to sell? How much do I have to put in the bank every week? That's it. There's a process. I'm done. But make no mistake, if you get to the end and you say, well, we'll just order it online, and you don't challenge them or you don't find a way to get them to buy it today, then you're an idiot. Why? Because once I walk out, how do you know that I'm not geo-tagged with a competitor? As I walk out the door, they're going to give me an offer of $10 off or something. And because I didn't buy it yet, I'm open to it. And I get home and I'm like, oh, I tried to buy something the other day. I forget what it was. it was a product I think that CVS had that was free shipping or something, and I did it, and I couldn't get it to work. It just kept saying this and this. I was like, forget this. And I just went to Amazon, and I was like, great, send it to me. And I know people are like, why did you buy Amazon? Everybody buys Amazon. Don't kid yourself. Well, I don't. Okay, well, you're one of the 1% that don't. But why? Because it's convenient. You know what the most convenient way for me to buy is? If I've been in a store, I just give you my card and I'm there because I have it immediately and I love it. And then you send me a text or you send me an email right away that says how great it's going to look, or you send me a picture or you send me something that makes me feel like I'm glad I made that choice, and it cements that memory into it. So it starts to brand my butt that if I'm looking for a product, I'm only going to go to you. That's what it takes. But getting caught up into, well, whose sale was it? Oh, it was hers. Well, she said hello to him. Oh, yeah, but he got her to the dresser. Well, but yeah, I added the belt. You're just missing the point. The person that rings it up gets the sale. And I get it. Most of the world will tell you we need to have all these fancy algorithms to do that. I think we are being sold a bill of goods. If you don't think that the Capitol riots happened because of AI and other machines that are working behind us to influence the way, well, I think you're not looking at the facts here. But ultimately, we are going to come from a place that you make a human connection. I don't need technology. You make a human connection. I connect with you before I ever connect to the product. Then I'm going to be the one you're going to buy from. And that's why so many brands are in trouble right now. So many CEOs have come and gone. So many stores have closed, and demoralized employees, and no training, and generic content, and generic Instagram, and silly little promotions and discounts, when the heart of it is you haven't found a way to get demand high enough to make the margins that you deserve. And if you follow me, you know that it's a hard job, that every day I have to get up. When I get in front of a customer, I have to think, okay, so how am I going to make their day before they're going to make mine? And if that's fun for you, then you enjoy your job. But if you think that you deserve it because you just opened your store and no one's coming in, well, then you find a way. I know. I'm not here to be your best friend and tell you what you want. I'm not here to be here and tell you like, oh, poor thing, it sucks to be you. I'm not going to say that. Because we're all working in a new world. We've seen things in the last 10 days that we never thought we would see in a million years. So what? All that matters is that next person that walks in the door, that next employee that you're getting ready to hire. Are they trainable? Can they listen? Are you willing to reward them if they do? Then I think you're going to have a great business in 2021 and 2022. All right. I have one more here from Doug in the UK. Let's see. LinkedIn user. How does that not have a name to you? Connection, inspiration, wonder, and hope for the future. Cabin fever is powerful, real experience. Customers will come flooding back once again. We are open. That's exactly right. Oh, I love that, Rachel. Can I show this? I think I can show this. Awesome. An up system isn't about the salesperson. It's about the client. If you've served the client once before and they didn't remember you by name, you weren't memorable. That is perfect, Rachel. I wish that gets a yes from me. That was awesome. Fabulous. And by the way, if you like what I have to say, give me some love. Damn algorithm's working. All right, let's hide that. Let's do my last one from Doug. During the pandemic, we have gained hundreds of new customers. Many are signed up to our newsletter. Any tips to retain these customers and avoid them going back to previous suppliers? Doug, I think I've already pretty much said that, but it comes down to turn your focus on your customers and share their stories of how they've used your product or what they've done with it. Turn your focus to look at the way that you write in your newsletter. It's about you, not I. That's really tough for people that have big egos. Just saying. Anyone? But it is, in the end, we only care about ourselves. We don't care about what you have to say. So understanding that the way to do it is to make sure that you're always adding value, and ask a friend, did this add value? If you were to read this, did this add value? Like today, we're putting out in the newsletter about 5 cash flow tips for retailers in January. If you have a good beat on that, well, then maybe that won't be what you read. But I've got a podcast that we're talking about, and I think and one more thing. But it's always about thinking, if I was getting this, is there something that would deepen your connection to me and my worldview, which is the future is endless, that I'm not going to tell my story of it sucks to be me and be drawn backwards to other people who want to share in that. I'm going to push myself to say, okay, future self, what would you like from me? You know, it was about 7 years ago that I made the commitment that I was going to bring all my training online, and it ultimately became Sales RX. We launched about 20 lessons, and that was a big hit because at that time I didn't have the cash flow. I had to take out a loan, had to go through and figure out how does this work, had to go through and film it, and a lot of other things. And I'm so glad I did it. And the same for you. You had to learn an awful lot of things in the last year, I'm sure, right? And in the end, that creativity that it sparked is great. Well, make no mistake, buy online, click and collect, all that other stuff. That's, again, like Ticketmaster saying, oh, we can get your tickets by fax or at the box office. The point is, I'm going to Hamilton, and that's what your employees and customers need to feel when they come to you and when they get your newsletter. Like, oh, wow, that's great. That's my brand. That's it. Because in the end, this brings me back to the devil wears Prada and what I've been talking all about today. You have a choice. Are we going to make the world a better place? Are we going to make the world a Star Trek place where we are not all the same, but from that we feel strength? Then I think you will find an awful good 2021, because you're going to attract other people that feel that same positive hope. And with that, I'm going to end this broadcast. So thanks for joining me. If you want to go through and you want to share this, I would certainly appreciate it. If you want to give me a thumbs up, you want to come back to it and tell people how great I am and get me to get more followers, well, that would be great as well. And if you want to check out Sales RX, well, you certainly should do that as well. I'm Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Bye.